Welcome back to the Michigan Sports Media Network. And today, as always, I have our Red Wings reporter, James Gullett, and our Tigers reporter, Brad Thompson, joining me. Today, we're going to switch it up a little bit just because Red Wings are kind of the hot topic in a not so good way right now. We're going to go ahead and start with the Wings. So, James, with that being said, the floor is yours. Try to be nice. No, don't be nice.
Well, if you want me to be nice, I will scrap every bit of prep I have for this show. And I see Brad's already got his hat sideways. Surprisingly, apparently, I am pretty good with math and whatnot, but I thought we were eliminated mathematically last night with our loss. It turns out we are not. We are down to a 0.1% chance where we have to win out, and the Montreal Canadiens cannot even go to overtime. If they get a single point between these next five games anywhere down the line, we they are in if they get those points, and that's not happening, but mathematically it is possible. For all intents and purposes, we are out. Um, as much as I know we've harped on the replacing Iserman, I would give that approximately a 5% chance of happening. I don't think he's I don't think his actual seat is even warm, even though for me he's in a boiling pot of water. But I'm not the owner of the Red Wings, so it is what it is. I full on 100% expect him to come back. Year seven of the Iser plan. I did see one person on X call it the Iser scam. I do like that. I wish I remembered what your username was to give you credit, but I did not come up with that. I personally, I don't even want to talk about like the game today even. I think we should use these remaining games. I know I touched on it in one of the previous podcasts as a preseason kind of exhibition for some of these rookies and would-be rookies in the minor leagues. I want players like Amadeus Lombardi, Nate Danielson, Sebastian Cossa. I want them to come up and get a feel for the NHL level and speed action. These games, for all intents and purposes, don't matter to us. We're all out of it technically. I know there's going to be someone in the comments saying, well, actually, they're not. Yeah, that's nice. We're out of this thing in a way that would see if they're ready to be on our roster for next year against actual NHL talent because some of the teams we are playing against are fighting for either a playoff spot or playoff seeding. So the other teams we will be playing against have something to play for. So when if we were to have them come up and play in actual preseason games that don't matter, they're playing against other teams' players just like this. So this would be a true test. And maybe they get crapped on and that's why they're not up at this level. But hey, you show why they're not up at this level. You get their feet wet. But maybe they'll surprise you. Maybe they'll come up here and show you why they should have been up here. We'll see what happens. That being said, with the game today, no call ups or anything like that. I doubt there will be because they are, I hate to say taking the Brad Holmes approach because that's been successful and the Wings have not, but they seem to have a plan regardless of what people think about it, and they are just going to follow it. They want to take this slow-esque approach. They want to build through the draft, and almost like baseball, it takes 2 to 3 years. Even the good prospects like Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond spent a year or two in the minors. Then they came up here, they were rookie of the year, and they played great. They earned 8 year extensions, but we haven't really seen any draft prospects really come up besides those. Actually, let me rephrase. Let me add Marco Casper to that list because he has been playing lights out. It took a good chunk of the season with any young player. I'm not going to badmouth him in any way, but it takes a good chunk of the season to get that feel for it. and he's come alive and he's been playing, dare I say, maybe the best centerman on the roster right now. I feel like over the last 10-ish games, he's outplayed Larkin, which I don't know if that's impressive or if that's a slight against Larkin, to be honest. Um, our wings on uh, our left and right wings, not the Red Wings, have been playing fairly solid the last couple games. Um, but our centermen are not setting them up for success. They're not, long story short, just doing what you need to do to be successful. Casper has, so that is actually encouraging. I will once again give Yzerman his flowers for that because now we're up to about 3 players that he drafted that are showing some promise. The bad news is there's about 20 others on the roster that aren't. Uh, so unfortunately, that's a slow go on that one. But but with that being said, the only other thing I want to touch on is the potential for a big off-season addition. I touched on it talking on X, and several people like the idea, which part of me wants to be cocky and say I'm not surprised because sometimes I know what I'm talking about. But Mitch Marner is a right wing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is going to command a big salary in free agency. And I think the Wings need to cut ties with, well, to be fair, pretty much anyone on the roster that will clear enough space to get him. He would instantly come in if he even wants to be here and be a top 2 to 3 player on this team. And I'm being conservative with that. I think the only one he would really be competing with would be DeBrincat. And rumors and markets say he might earn as much as 13 to 14 million a year. And I believe currently, I do not have the number in front of me, but I believe currently the highest paid player on the Wings was 9 million a year. So he would be a steep increase over what we currently have. But we have so much fat on this roster that we can trim to create salary and not even lose talent because some of these players are just massively overpaid. So although Mitch Marner would command a big salary, he's actually, at least his time in Toronto, sometimes a free agent looks pretty good somewhere else and then they go here and they don't look so hot. I'm looking at you, Tarasenko. But who's another one that we could probably trim off the roster. But on paper, that would be a big move. That is someone that can help us win now. He's still fairly young. I believe he's 27. Be here for the long haul. Be here with this next couple years of the rebuild or whatever the hell they want to call it. And give us a marquee player that other free agents might say, you know what, I'm going to go and play with him. And he would no longer be second fiddle to Austin Matthews there. But that is getting ahead of ourselves because, like I said, I'm already looking ahead. I'm looking at bringing up the prospects. I'm starting to look into draft prospects. Um, there is a good chance if we lose a couple more of these games, which we've been doing just fine on, we can improve our draft. I will loosely say positioning because NHL does have a lottery. So we will increase our lottery odds with a couple more losses if that is what happens. And with that being said, unfortunately, other than there's no other way to say it besides an act of God, we are we are out of the season. So I'm looking forward to the off season and what we can potentially do with that. And with that being said, I will send it over to you guys.
Yeah, really good stuff there, James. I love the sideline antics by Brad during the talk there. But you guys are gonna hate me right now. I don't think Yzerman should be fired, and here's why. Okay, here's why. Everybody says, "Oh, he doesn't bring in free agents." He got DeBrincat. He got Kane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he is not doing an amazing job, no. But at the same time, I just think this is from how spoiled Red Wings fans have been for I mean, Hockey Town, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where, even Lions fans recently have been getting this, where they're fucking calling for Brad Holmes' job because we didn't win a Super Bowl. And I mean, obviously that's way, way worse than calling for Iserman. But I think Detroit sports fans have gone through losing so much that when we get a team like the Red Wings that's supposed to just be good all the time, and then they're not, it hurts even worse. So I'm not saying it's crazy to say that he should be fired, but I'm saying think about it this way. Like, he does do a good job of drafting. I mean, we've mentioned that many times on this show. He's done I would say, a decent job at getting offensive help, right? Obviously, we need more defense. We need a goalie. But I feel like offensively, we've at least if you look at the names on the sheet, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, and then if you look at our contracts, like you mentioned Tarasenko, Kopp and Comfort could also be a guy that for the money, you never know. I feel like there's a handful of guys on this roster that we could move around, trade maybe one of our not so great offensive guys that's getting overpaid for an older defensive guy that can be more productive for us, or a goalie, or whatever the case. I just feel like give him this offseason, see what happens, And if he don't do shit, then I guess I would definitely say he should be fired. But with that being said, Brad, I'll pass it over to you, as I'm sure you're going to give us a lovely, lovely review of Mr. Iserman.
Well, today's my daughter's 27th birthday. Happy birthday, Hope. She did ask me as a little small gift to find at least something nice to say about the Red Wings, and it's taken me from 8 o'clock this morning up until when I entered this room for this podcast. So, uh, I guess that they threw a pretty big octopus out on the ice the other day. It was big. It was a nice one. It was big. It had some nice goo, some good slime to it when they picked it up. That was great. That's a great thing. Great thing. Octopus, yeah. I'm gonna be completely PC here, but they're all above 21 years of age. But they got some new ice skating girls out there that get the ice shavings up and stuff. That's great. That's great. Got them new uniforms. That's really good. Seriously, there's some two positive things about the Wings right there. Um, Now coming in to the next game, yeah, I would rather take probably about 2 dozen firecrackers, shove them up my ass, and squat over a flaming hibachi than watch that hockey game. Okay? Steve Yzerman's been there for 7 years. Okay? Surprisingly, coincidentally, let me ask you this, Jace. Matt Millen was with the Lions for more than 7 years. Okay, let's say 7 years. Okay, how did you like how did you like what he was doing there? How did you like it?
Didn't.
Okay, okay. He oversaw. He was, and this is football, which is 16 games to 82 games, but he was, let's say, well below 500. Okay, you can't say Eisenman shouldn't be fired because he is now 51 games under 500 in 7 years. Guys, it does. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, yeah, you know what? You came up here as a rookie, you were a 50 goal scorer, then you completely changed your game to be one of the best defensive players in hockey. You've done so much for the organization. Dude, I get it. All right, but you know what? The last 7 years they haven't done anything. Okay, he drafts well. That remains to be seen. They haven't been called up yet. Okay, I'll give you Sider and Raymond. That's not a problem. I'll even give you Comfort for Christ's sake. He does not sign free agents. He signs ass free agents. DeBrinket's a no-brainer. Okay, and the only reason he signed DeBrinket is because he's from fucking Detroit. I'm gonna tell you that right fucking now. All right. Kane, yeah, nobody really even. I mean, Kane, great. I mean, yeah, you go sign Kane in his peak. Yeah, oh, that's a move. Kane was coming off an injury, guys, that he didn't even know if he was going to come back. All right, so that was a gamble. It worked out. Did it work out? They still didn't make the playoffs. All right, so he's fun to watch, but he's a shell of his old self, which is still a good hockey player. Sider's good, but their offense, Lucas Raymond, DeBrinket, Larkin every now and then. Those are three guys. Those are three forwards. Tell me somebody else who, I mean, Comfort maybe. I mean, I could be wrong here. Escapes on my. Tell me anybody else who's going to give any goddamn offense. I mean, you know, the Toronto dude, he'd be a horse's ass to want to come here. I mean, Toronto's at the top. They got a shot every year at the Cup. I mean, this is the dude. Hockey Town is a ghetto. Okay, it is. It's gone from a prestigious town. It's a ghetto. And you know what? Ghettos have trash in them. They're burned out. All right. And that's all this hockey town is. 51 games under 500 in the Eiserman regime. If you guys want to have it, and if anybody wants to have it, good for you. You know, I'm not watching them. I got the Pistons to watch. April and the D, thanks for fucking that up too. All right. Thanks a lot for fucking. Hey, at least they don't have to. I mean, just don't. You fucked up April and the D. Great job. Great job. Seriously. Golf club. Great job. You could have had, for the first time in Detroit sports history, could have had all four teams make the playoffs. First time in Detroit sports history. And that goes back to the 1900s, guys. But yeah, you fucked that up too. I mean, way to go. But other than that, how did you like to play, Mrs. Lincoln? They're trash. And there's no hope in sight because I have zero faith that he'll sign a free agent the right way. And any trades he'll make, he'll fuck up too because he's doing it for the last 6 years. All right, so 51 games under 500. Not you, Jace, but people seriously come at me on X because you came at James and I stepped in there for you. And James, you're a grown ass man. You can do that shit yourself. I get it, but I stepped in there for her. He had a real dipshit. All right, never came back at me. I said, explains 51 games under 500 years. You know, genius. Funny. I got blocked. Ooh, shocker. You know, you want to hear facts. You don't want to hear shit. Okay? So, whoever the fuck your name was, I don't know, it was Iser, Dickhead, Plant, or whatever, you know, just, you're an idiot. You don't want to hear the truth. The truth is, Iseman sucks. The best he can do, and I'm going to write something about it. The best he can do is do the noble thing. Because I do believe he's noble. For Christ's sake, he's the goddamn, he's the goddamn captain. Okay? Go in, say to the fans, I came here with every good intention. Hockey Town, Detroit they raised me. My family grew up here. I bleed red and white. I have tried my best. Anything I've tried, please know that I've done my best with the best intentions for the greatest organization in the NHL. I have simply not gotten the job done. I think what's best for the Red Wings is that I stepped down at this time. I will always be loyal to Detroit. I tried my best for Detroit, and I only want what's best for Detroit, and that is me not being in this position anymore. Or else, Steve, you're going to go the way of Joe Dumars, who, by the way, won a championship for the Pistons. And sooner or later, well, you know what? Because Chris Illich is an asshole. He's just a fucking dipshit. But Mr. Davidson, he fired Joe. He didn't want to. How are you going to fire Joe Dumars? He won you a title. Well, he fired Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars has never stepped foot into the Palace, and he has never stepped foot into LCA, and he never will because he was fired. Okay? So if you fire him, you fire a legend, and his legacy is tarnished. If you keep him, well, you'll be doing what you did back in the early 80s by giving away, and this is what Mike and Marion Illich did because they were so bad, giving away a car every goddamn home game so people would show the fuck up. Okay? So either way, you're gonna, you fire him, you're an asshole. You don't fire him, you're an asshole. Steve, come on in. Sit down here. Please, we're asking you to resign. We will never fire you. Please go out there. Please say it was your decision. Should be his decision anyways. He's got to go. If he doesn't go, then that's great. And Red Wings, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Ask the Pistons how they felt for the last 4 years. All right? Go ask Tom Gores. Chris Illich, you share the same goddamn building with Tom Gores. Go there, sit in Gore's office. He's probably got a bottle of scotch. He's already halfway downed. Sit with him and tell him how it fucking sucked to be irrelevant in this fucking city. Nah, Chris will say fuck it, though. He's the biggest horse's ass in the fucking 3 counties. I want a DNA test because I don't think he's an Illich. So, with that, I'll stop. But hey, the octopus and the chicks, rock on.
Yeah, really good stuff there, Brad. And I will say the one thing I can agree with completely is I would rather watch that fireworks show than any hockey game. It could be the fucking Stanley Cup. I'll watch that shit over it. But with that being said, James, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on while we're still on the wings for a moment. I know we're getting lengthy here with the wings, but was looking up during Brad's, should I even say like soliloquy of rant? What insert your adjective here. Two quick things actually. We are 24th in there's 32, in case people don't know, there's 32 NHL teams, just like football teams. The Wings are 24th in goals per game scored, so we are a bottom 10 offense, and we are 21st in goals allowed, so we are 11th, so we're the first team out of the bottom 10 in terms of defense. So this is year 6 of the rebuild, and we are just almost bottom 10 in both metrics, offense and defense. But I will end on a slightly good note in terms of, I guess I'll just call it personal news. I said on X probably a good week ago or so that I am the biggest Kaiserman hater out there, and I can confidently say I am not anymore. Uh, I thought like I said, I've been asking for him to be fired, but you passed me, Brad. I'm not that far gone. So I feel like I'm comfortably between you and Jace. So congratulations, I will pass the crown to you for that one. And with that, I'll send it back to you, Jace.
Yeah, good stuff there, James. And that's a good point. I do think we have the biggest Irishman hater on earth on this podcast. That's a good thing for us. So if you're watching this, it's because you love sports. If you love sports, why not show that love with some new gear, like the 2 jerseys behind me? Fanatics has a lot of stuff on sale right now, and if you go down in the description, click the link of whatever team that you want, it'll take you to the Fanatics page, buy some stuff, and we get a small portion. It'll help us out, and you'll get some discounts on some good gear. With that being said, I will pass it over to you, Brad, for our Tigers update. I know some things have been happening, so floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Good news and bad news on the injury front. Let's just get the bad news out of the way. Jake Rogers is man, he's got an oblique, guys, and they put him on the 10-day IL. But if anybody's who's ever had an oblique, it's about like having cracked ribs. So the timetable there, I'm going to say, is unknown. Wenzel Perez, guy that the starting center fielder after Meadows, he's on the 60. So you got your number 1 center fielder, number 2 center fielder on the 60-day ILs. Okay, that's crippling. Torres, Glaber Torres is back tonight. It sounds like they moved Margot also to the injured list, and the guy they brought up, I think is cracking. I don't know, he's some scrub, but he spent 2 games. He sat on the bench. He got to hear stories and tales from the bench. But Torres looks like he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to play tonight, but he will play some point on this road trip. So that is quite some very good news. It really is. So that's something real good to hang their hats on, because they've been playing great. They really have. I broke down some things. I was actually doing a little due diligence today. It's a Friday. It's a free day. Let's roll the balls out. Let the kids play with them in school. We do work Monday through Thursday, though. But the Tigers play teams this month, all this month now, who had winning records last year for the rest of the month. Okay? That's who. And then they also play, all right, Brewers playoffs, Royals playoffs, Padres playoffs, Orioles playoffs, Astros playoffs in this month. So, and then also keep in mind that in March they played LA, the world champs, and they played Seattle, another team with a winning record. So I'll go back to it and I'll say it again. It's the 2-2. If they can get through this month, you talk about You think the Lions schedule is tough, and it is, but this, oh my God. And if they can be at 500, 2 games above with this schedule, I'll say 5 games below 500, which I don't think they will be. But 5 games under 500, that's a hell of an accomplishment, man. We're going through the meat grinder here. And just imagine when this schedule lightens up a little bit, sure you have to go out there and win, but it's gonna be pretty darn nice. Okay. Uh Something else. I mean, we've been all over Torque. You know, hey, if I'm the worst fucking Heisman hater, then I'm the biggest fucking Torque lover. Okay, all right. I've seen the light. I've been born again. All right. Seriously, this dude is fucking amazing right now. Um, he didn't homer last year until May 19th. Jesus. All right. He's got 3 already. His WAR for the entire year, all right, was a .4. Basically nothing. It didn't even help him win half a game. Right now, and you got to keep in perspective how small the season's been. We're only in week 2, barely over week 2. His WAR is already a half a game at .5. So if he keeps progressing, we're talking a guy with a WAR at maybe at least a 4 point. That's what Alex Bregman was. Just saying, save the money, pay Skubal. Okay, thank you, Torque, for that. Uh, Giving more flowers out, Zach McKinstry. Okay, he cannot be an everyday third baseman, but he can be an 5 game a week, maybe a 4 game a week platoon player. I mean, he's hitting the cover off the ball right now. They put some stats. I forgot. Oh, they put him next to it's. I think they were joking. In fact, I know they're joking. But they put his stats next to Bobby Wood Jr.'s. So far this season, and he's doing better than Bobby Wood Jr. Now, pump the brakes. That's almost like a kind of a humorous thing. Sweeney's been playing outstanding. Baez, I gotta be honest, man. Javi Baez is playing okay. I talked about it last week. He's playing okay. He's not hurting the team. He's definitely not hurting the team. And look what they did against the Yankees, man. I mean, goddamn, they're down 4-0 in the ninth inning, and they got the tying run at second base. Next thing you know, it's 4-3. So there's nothing but positives outside of the injuries. There's nothing but positives coming out here. They're showing to me that last year's surge so far it hasn't been a fluke. Again, I'll keep saying it. This is a good baseball team, and it's got the potential to be great. It really does. Third base is going to be a problem for them. They're spitting and gluing that right now. They're duct taping it. I've got no inside information, and this is just something that I would, if I was them, and I'm definitely not them, that I would look close to is Rafael Devers in Boston is having a complete. He's got a 0.00 batting average. Okay, he got moved to designated hitter by Boston so they could bring Bregman in. Okay, the press conference there was contentious at best when they asked Devers. Okay, he was pretty blunt, to say the least. Okay, gentlemen, it is not easy when you're moved to DH. Okay, you're only doing one thing: you're sitting on the bench and you're hitting. Okay, that's all you're doing. When you've grown up playing baseball, you play the field, you play, you go hit. It is not a transition that is, oh, well, you can just be. It's not that easy. It's just not. So there's something that's going on there. Obviously, ain't happy. And when you ain't happy, you're not good. I'm not gonna call him a bum. He's not a bum, but it's in your head. You're not happy. All right. If he can't be a DH right now, he's showing that the transfer doesn't work. So hey, you've got a plethora, all right, of good young talent in the minors. Okay, I'll get to him in a second. You got Jace Jung right now, which is a hard puzzle to put in there because of stuff. I mean, if he keeps going downhill, and this is the end of May, and let's say Devers is hitting 220 with a couple dingers. I mean, this guy was an all Major League Baseball third baseman, perennial All-Star, for Christ's sake. If you're not happy, man, you got to at least make a phone call. Say, who do you want out there other than Lozano, Clark, and McGoingle? Who do you want? Who do you want? And without going, and Rayner, and without going overboard. I got to make that phone call at least. I mean, call me crazy. I got to make that phone call. But Jace Jung, he is lighting it up. He's on fire. He's the best player in the freaking in AAA right now. He is. Hinch prioritized, defense over offense. Now his defense is a little suspect, but he had a horrible spring, hit 121, a 216 OBP, and a 273 OPS. That is about as brutal as it gets. Okay. The goal for Hinch was to have him go down, get his timing back, get his confidence back. That seems to be there now. Okay. I mean, going into last week, he had 2 bombs, 7 walks, 333 batting average, 545 OBP, 933 OPS. Okay. Those numbers don't lie. Sure, it's AAA. I understand that. Okay. But make a case for him not to be up right now. Okay. I mean, we're talking, we're talking about that he went down and he found the right mindset, right? So let's flip it over to Colt Keith. Okay. This to me is inexcusable. This to me is, buddy, take your tampon out. Okay. If you're gonna be a fucking mental midget, if you're gonna swing your purse around, and I'm gonna stop there because we're gonna be politically correct in this day and age. You don't go and you don't tell the media that your confidence is at an all-time low, okay? Because in Detroit, like you said, Jace, whatever, we're going to rip you apart. And we don't even rip them apart that badly. Could you imagine him saying that in New York or Philadelphia? He would literally be hung in effigy, all right? From the fucking Rocky fucking statue, okay? What are you doing, son? You're that fucking bad that you're gonna fucking say that about yourself. Little hint, little hint. You don't say it to the media. You go say it to your shrink, your sports psychologist. You go tell him, all right, that you tore your labia. Okay, you go tell him that you're an all-time low, that you suck, that you're a self-loather, that you can never play, you're the worst baseball player. That is what he is paid to do. Your sports psychologist, your shrink, your psychiatrist, okay? That's what HIPAA laws are for Christ's sake. They can't see it. But no, you're going to have your outlet be the media, okay? You're done. You're done. You don't do that, okay? And then some idiot on Twitter, shocker, says, oh, we should do what they did for Trey Turner in Philadelphia. And when he comes back from the homestand, everybody get up and cheer because have him play better. Oh, yes, yes, man, yes, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. No, dude, you don't do that because Trey Turner is a proven effing all-star with a proven, all right, whatever he's got. He's a stud. Colt, calm down. All right, he already got me going with the Wings. Dude, you suck. Go down to Erie. Go down, just go away. Go away from a while. Just go away. Hopefully, now being serious now, hopefully you could go down there, figure it out, clear your head, okay, and have the success that Jace Jung had. Okay, because in all honesty, you got Torres back. He's gonna play second base, obviously. Jung, you could, yeah, I mean, bring him up, put him at third base. Put him at third base. You want to keep Keith as a DH? Okay. All right, but I'd rather see Justin Henry Malloy there. So you could do a little platooning. But Keith Torque is a better first baseman right now. He is. He's not. He's no one's. He's not the reincarnation. Of Pools over there. But he's a damn good hitter. He can hold first base down. He's above average defensively. If Keith can't, he was learning first base. All right, and first base is not the easiest position. I mean, you've seen Moneyball. Watch, tell him how easy it is. It's not hard. It's incredibly hard. If you remember that part in the movie. So let this guy hit. Let's do the antithesis of what Devers is doing. Let this guy figure it out at the plate. And don't have him take the fielding. He's horrible. You're bringing that to the plate with you. It's in your head. That's why you're not hitting. Okay. And if you can't hit when you're just DHing, then you know what? Just go down and figure it out. You wouldn't be the first one. Go down, figure it out. I mean, it's not personal. All right. It's not personal, but you suck and you're not helping this team. And if you're not helping this team, you can't play. All right. I mean, Jace, you're no line coach. If you got your right guard and they're just shooting through the B gap and they're just kicking the shit out of your running back, are you going to keep putting them out there day after day after day? Oops. Sorry. My screensaver just. Sorry. I do. Whoa. Sorry again. Hold on.
Brad, you done broke the phone, damn it.
No, I
What
did.
the
No,
hell's going on?
I'm not, speaking of psychiatrists, I'm going to go see mine on Monday after all this Iserman and Colt Keith bullshit. But I digress. So, but this is going to be a big road trip. All right, we're going to be able to see. Let's come out of Minnesota with 2 out of 3. Let's stay. I think what are we at? We're at 7-5. I think we're 2 games over 500. I think we got I could be wrong. We got maybe like a 2.5 game lead. So let's have a great road trip. Let's honestly, you guys are playing great. Your pitching is outstanding. You got Olsen going tonight. Then you're going to have Joe, which I think is going to be a little better for him being on the road. I think it's going to be a little easier for him. And then you got your best pitcher, Mize, going in Game 3. So, yeah, it's a 3-game series. So let's see what happens. It is a very, very. They're just fun to watch, and they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it with so many injuries, but they're doing it. And the good news is they're getting some key players back. So that's good. I will not pound the table anymore. I thought it was more sturdy than this, but I've exercised my demons of Iserman and Keith. They can both go to hell. They can both jump off the Ambassador Bridge. I don't give a fuck. So with that, I'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, great stuff there, Brad, as always. We always appreciate the Tigers update, but also the passion that comes with it. And I can guarantee you our next conversation is going to be even more passionate. So, the Detroit Pistons, okay? They just clinched a playoff game not too long ago, right? They're the 6th seed right now, and there's a chance if they win on Friday and I think it's Sunday that they play the Bucks, they could move up to the 4 or the 5 seed and play the Pacers. Now, what's more likely to happen is that they end up playing the Knicks, which they just played last night. I was there in person, and I will tell you what, Little Caesars Arena was fucking lit. Like, bro, it wasn't sold out, don't get me wrong. It was damn near, though. And the ending of that game where Jalen Brunson missed those 2 free throws, I didn't think the stadium could get any louder. And then Duren threw that dunk down, eruption. It was like fucking Mount Vesuvius was in that motherfucker, all right? Now, the reason this is going to get passionate is because I am still worried about the Pistons in the playoffs, and here's why, okay? It took Cade dropping 36 points last night to beat the Knicks, okay? And I know we're going to say, oh, they won by, 7? I think they won by 9, okay? They won by 9, so everybody's like, oh, we whooped them, blah, 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 blah. We were down by 13 points in the 3rd quarter, folks, okay? Let's just be real with ourselves right now. We were down 13 points to a Knicks team that did not have OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, or Mitchell Robinson. Just saying. Now, we can say that we won the game and everything was fucking hunky-dory, and yeah, it was great. I had a great time there, but god damn it, when Precious Achua has 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists, we got a fucking problem, boys, okay? It's the same shit I've been talking about all year. Isaiah Stewart, I love him, you're a great defender, but damn it, you can't get dunked on by Precious Achua in fucking transition and then allow him to get a double-double on your head. You just can't do that. I'm sorry. You can't. Now, Brad, this is where I think we're going to disagree quite a bit, okay? Karl Anthony Towns gave us the work, okay? And I know you're going to say, no. Isaiah Stewart had him crying. He had 25 points, 5 assists, and 10 rebounds in 29 minutes, guys. He didn't play it for 10 minutes in the 2nd quarter, and he still had 25, 10, and 5, okay? Imagine, right, if he's not in foul trouble in the 1st quarter. He had 3 fouls in the 1st quarter. Imagine if that doesn't happen. He's dropping 40. He just is. I'm sorry. And mind you, Isaiah Stewart had a solid game, but he had 1 rebound, 1 assist, and fouled out. I'm just saying, I mean, if you're gonna be somebody that we count on for these big moments in the playoffs, I need more than 1 rebound, 1 assist. Okay, he did have a good game. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that they didn't have Anunoby, they didn't have Hart, they didn't have Robinson. We still had the issue with defense in the paint. Like I said last week when we talked about this, Karl Anthony Towns, 25, 5 and 10, like I said. Achua, 18, 3 and 10, like I said. But on top of that, Michael Bridges, 17 and 7. Miles McBride, 12 and 6. The real difference maker in this game, in my opinion, was Jalen Brunson. Not Jalen Brunson, the injury that Jalen Brunson recently had, okay? He only had 15 points on 34 minutes. I would be willing to bet he's going to average 25 in the playoffs, okay? Just another 10 points from Jalen Brunson wins them that game. And I say all this to say, I still think it's Knicks in 6. I just do. I mean, the Pistons are young. They got a good coach, but they just don't have the experience. You know, Cade is a great player, but from what I saw, obviously he had 36 points. He played a great game. But from what I saw, I would be surprised if he does that in the playoffs against the Knicks because I feel they'll play a lot better defense on him. Specifically, Anunoby will most likely be his matchup. And I know he had, I think, was it 38 the last time Anunoby guarded him. But I'm not willing to put that much on Cade in a playoff series where he needs to score 40 every game. So, and with that, Jaden Ivey probably will be back, but who knows at what, how good he's going to be, if he'll be 80% or 90% or 100. I doubt he'll be more than 80%, if I'm being honest. He just got cleared for basketball practices or whatever you want to call it, I think a couple days ago. So with that being said, Brad, I will pass it over to you, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Hey James, I got a online assignment for you, and because I don't know, I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at it. No, could you look down the stretch in the fourth how many points Cat had? I literally don't know. I think Stewart did it. I think Stewart did a pretty good job on him, to be honest. It's like on offense you're playing 5 against 4. We all know that. Uh, but I think with Cat, I mean, you have Stewart on him, then you can. I mean, you can throw a lot of guys at him. You can throw Cat. Cat, Jesus. You can throw Duren at him. You can throw Stu at him. You can even throw, you can throw Reed at him if you want to. Okay, you throw the big men at him. All right. He's gonna. But here's the thing: Cat's gonna get his. Cat's always gotten his. He's gonna get his. Let Cat get his and worry about the other guys. Okay, so that's my defense on that one. I want to hear back on the numbers, but also with the numbers, I want to know, James, if you could please, how many points Cade scored in the 4 games they faced. Uh, Something came out that I read on Twitter today that Cade Cunningham is the 8th player to ever average the triples, the numbers that he has: points, rebounds, and assists. And in that company, you have Oscar Robertson. You have Luka Doncic. Robertson did it like 7 years, but this guy was. I wasn't around when he started playing, but believe me, he was legit. LeBron, Luka, Joker, Westbrook in his MVP season, and now Cade. Um, that's pretty freaking special. Okay. Uh, would you say? Let me ask you a couple of questions, Jace. Would you say that Cade was the best player in the 4 last night? Okay. Oh no. Okay. Cool. Um, and me and a buddy of mine at work today, we were kind of breaking down who would be all the all NBA. He's saying, Cade would be on it, he'd be the 5th man on it. I saying, you know what? I think he's a second team all NBA, and I really think he is, and he better be, because if it's not, it's the Detroit versus everybody moment. I think he's the 6th best player this year in the league. Okay, and I think he's a superstar. At least this year, I think he's going to be a superstar. Superstars do what superstars do. They take games over. If Cade Cunningham is a superstar, which many think he is, he can go out there. Can he get 40 a night? No, but he can average 30 a night. Okay? That would be great. If they get Ivy back, I doubt they use him for more than 5 minutes and he'd be coming off the bench. You're not going to disrupt this thing. This thing's a train rolling, okay? So I don't think he'll be anything, but you get anything out of him, that'd be great. So I really don't think you've got him in 6, I got the Knicks in 7. But I got a hell of a series going on here. And I think this is Cade's welcome to welcome to the NBA. And you know what? Actually, United States, NBA. Here's Cade Cunningham. Here's what we've had. Here's what he's been all year long. Okay, this is his coming out party. Um, I think he's got the makeup. I think he's got the drive. I think he's got the passion. What he did last night with the Detroit man, that ain't fake. That ain't fake. That's all in, man. Everything he's ever talked about Detroit. He is Detroit, okay? And let's think about it right now. I mean, he is Detroit. All right, not Jared Goff, but he's Detroit. Shamir Gibbs is Detroit. You get my point. He is Detroit. He is going to retire in Detroit. He wants to be here, okay? He can take games over. I think we've seen that, and he could if he's the best player on the floor 5 of these games, then I still think it goes 7 and they lose, but it ain't gonna be easy. Knicks are gonna be walking out of there battered, bloodied, and bruised. Okay, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, the Knicks are gonna win. They were missing some guys, but you shut Cat down. I don't think you're going to get a healthy Brunson all year, for the rest of the season. So that is a break for them. Boy, how good would Anunoby look with us next year? Holy shit, man! How good would he look? How good would he help the defense? How good would he help the perimeter scoring? Oh, by the way, he went to Indiana too. I had to throw it in there, but no, it's if the Pistons lose in 7, yeah, and you know what? The Knicks are a 3 seed. Hello, they're supposed to do it. I mean, so it's not like we're playing with and you know what? This year, 12 wins last year, we're playing with house money. Whatever happens, this has been the most historic turnaround in NBA history. We're just playing with house money here, folks. You know, the Pistons have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So just go out there and play like that, man. If you make a mistake, make it with your hair on fire. Don't be scared. All right. Don't pull a Colt Keith and not have your confidence. Okay. Go out there, leave it all on the fucking line. Whatever fucking happens, happens. You know what? We're still gonna be, man. We are all in on you, Pistons. And it's not. This isn't a fluke. It's not a fluke. You got one of the best coaches in the NBA. All right. These coaches nowadays, you got Brendan Malone who freaking yells at his team a little bit. Oh, he got to go, man. He got to go. He hurt our feelings. He got to go. All right. Pistons aren't like that. This is Detroit, dude. We don't get butthurt, okay? JB Bickerstaff goes in there, lights him up. It's not, oh, I'm butthurt, man. I can't take it. He yelled at me. He's got to go because I'm staying. Fucking pussified fucking sports world nowadays. But, um, no. Knicks in 7. But goddamn, it's been a hell of a year, and don't be surprised if they win it. Just don't be. So, with that, back to you guys.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I was looking up the stats, but I could not find specifically Karl Anthony Towns' points in the fourth quarter. However, from being there, he had probably 8 of his 25 in the fourth, I would say. Something close to that, between 7 and 12 points, somewhere in there. So he was playing pretty well. And that's, like I said before, that's what scares me about the Knicks. I know Jalen Brunson is going to cause us issues, but it's really Cat. So, but to your point, Cade Cunningham this year against the Knicks has had 22, 29, 36, and 36. So he's done a pretty damn good job at scoring the ball. However, that's great, but I just don't see it this year, And I think we both are on the same wavelength with that we had a great season. And like you said, we're just playing with house money at this point. If we get swept, who gives a fuck? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't feel upset. I'd only be upset if I paid the $400 to be in the building. But that's neither here nor there. But that's kind of why I went to this game yesterday, because it's a playoff preview, and I did not want to pay the money to go to a playoff game. So, but I will say the Pistons do have a chance. I mean, I'm not going to rule them out of anything. I could see them winning the series. Just my mind, my logic tells me it's probably not going to happen this time. But that should just show everyone around the league, kind of like you said, not only Cade, but the Pistons in general are here to stay. And I think, regardless of what happens in this playoff series, showing NBA players as a whole that the Pistons are, kind of ready to go, we could get us a big fish. And there's not that many this offseason, I will say. There's not a shit ton of great, free agents that we'd go sign a max. However, you made a good point about OG Anunoby. I wouldn't necessarily go for him because you have to trade for him. He's making 40-something million, and I just don't know if he fits that well. I mean, I look at him like Asar Thompson that can shoot. So I would rather just see what we got with Asar. However, what we could do is make a trade for another solid guard. Not anybody. I'm not talking going out and giving up fucking 10 first round picks for Steph Curry, but we could go, get a guy who is in that middle. I'm just going to say Austin Reeves type. I know Austin Reeves won't be available most likely, but that's the kind of guy we need. He's at a cheap contract, which he won't be after this year. But somebody who's making between 20 and 30 million, who we can just bring in to provide scoring and help for Cade. And then I would kick the can in free agency to the season after, because then we have Giannis, Luka, Trae Young, and just a plethora of great players that could be hit in free agency. So I would wait 2 years to really try to go hard in free agency, unless there's somebody who we just really think can get us over that hump. But with that being said, we will move on. Oh, you got something? All right, there you go, Brad.
Sorry, yeah, real quick. I thought he was going to be a free agent. I thought if not, you don't trade for him. Not at all. And you're right. There's that, but what they need is I mean, they want to go all the way. They need an elite scorer next to Cade. All right, an elite scorer. I mean, Holland played great, but he ain't. I mean, we're not give us some time. But they need an elite scorer next to Cade. They just have to. Maybe through trade, although I don't want to give up any young assets. Maybe like you said, you wait, because I don't think there's an elite scorer out there, and he's got to be elite. He just can't be it'd be great to have Beasley come off the bench. So that's there. You said Giannis. I don't think Giannis is going to be available, and here's why. Okay, I think he's going to be traded, and I think whoever trades for him is going to sign him. Obviously, to he's going to sign him to a max. So I think he's off the board. They're not going to let Lucas get out of L.A. I don't know if Trae Young's a fit here. I'm not pissing on all your guys. I don't mean to do that. So just go get your elite scorer. Nothing's going to come through on the draft. I don't even think they have. I could be wrong. I don't think they have a first round draft pick this year. I think that's via Minnesota. So, but yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, we're on the same page. But I do want to, you talked about the coming out party. I brought it up. This is how why it's going to be, because you got these freaking idiots. Okay, I love Barkley. I love Shaq. Okay, Barkley last night says, "Oh, it looks like the playoffs are coming back to Auburn Hills." All right. I mean, Charles, seriously, dude. I mean, really, really. And then you got Stephen A. Smith, and I don't think it was a mistake. He called him Wade Cunningham. All right. I mean, even if it was a mistake, dude, what are you doing? It's Cade Cunningham. Okay, he called him Wade Cunningham. Then you got Shaq, who says one thing one day, and then he says 2 weeks ago, "Is Pistons. I don't want to watch it." And then he's saying, "Hey man, Pistons, they're gonna beat the Knicks." So it's like, dude, you guys, let's just keep it real. You don't fucking watch us, okay? And that's fine, all right? Because all you are is shtick anyways. I love Shaq. I love Barkley. I do. I love him. But you know what? You're sitting back on your fat asses and you're just being funny. It's like stand-up comedy. Let's do this. Let's do this. Kenny the Jet Smith's the only one with any well, not credibility, knowledge. All right, but hey, Charles, hey, Shaq. If the names are New York, Chicago, L.A., Boston, Denver, you get my point where I'm going here. So yeah, y'all gonna learn about the Pistons, all right? You two fat fucks, you're gonna learn about the Pistons, all right? And you're gonna learn the hard way, okay? Just like the way Lambeer and Mahorn knocked your ass out, Charles, while you were irrelevant anytime you played us. That's why you don't want to remember us. Subconsciously, you remember Auburn Hills, where you got your ass kicked every time you came to or down. So I'll stop. I might have had too much Red Bull today. I'll stop.
No, and that's very valid. And to your point with Shaq and Charles, I completely agree. And honestly, I have not watched sports talk shows or sports TV in like 4 fucking years, dude. Like, I used to watch Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. I used to listen to their podcast at work because I was a cleaner. So I'd listen to the pod and I'd be like, kind of keep me up to date. It took me 3 weeks, guys. 3 weeks. And I was like, I don't know if they've talked about anything other than LeBron, Tom Brady, and the Cowboys. It was like just a fucking revolving door of the same 3 topics. And what they would do is, similar to what they've been doing with the Pistons, any topic that wasn't about those things, they somehow relate it back. Like, it makes me want to pull my fucking hair out, dude. I just stopped listening to all of them after that. I was like, yeah, this is a bunch of dumbass people who, for lack of a better term, are just fucking talking heads and they don't know shit. They're just here to say some shit and fucking hope it goes viral. Like, realistically, I don't believe that ESPN goes to Stephen A. Smith and says, hey, man, just give us your opinion. Tell us how you feel. No, they go to him and say some wild shit that people will talk about on Twitter for 3 days. That sounds good to me. Like, and unfortunately, that's just where we're at in sports, entertainment. You know, it feels like everything's kind of going downhill. But on a more positive note, this year's free agent class is not that bad, but it's not crazy to the point where I'd go out and mortgage anything for it. Right? There's guys like Fred VanVleet, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Chris Middleton, Julius Randle, John Collins. You get the point. Nothing insane. However, okay, call me fucking crazy. Call me insane. I would sign James Harden. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Why? If you look at what he's averaging, okay, and I know he's old as shit, right? But I think he's perfect for what we need. I think we could get him on a 1 year, 2 year deal, right? I mean, we're going to have to pay him, don't get me wrong, but that would help us next season with a veteran scoring leader. Right now, he's averaging 22.6 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.7 assists. Pretty fucking good, I would say. I'd sign his ass in a heartbeat because he gives you the playmaking ability that you need, right? He gives you the like you said, elite scorer. Now, he's not Houston James Harden anymore. We all know that. But he's kind of single-handedly doing his thing over there in LA right now. Kawhi hasn't played more than a handful of games this season. The Clippers are what? The 6th seed, I think? I don't know off the top of my head. I'll look that up just to make sure. But they're a damn good team, and he's kind of making it happen. Yeah, they're the 5 seed. So even better than I thought. So just think about that. You know, that's just something to put in your head as someone listening to this or, you know, watching whatever one it is. But then there are even more free agents the year after, like I mentioned before. So next year, 2026 free agency, we have Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Zach LaVine, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, and then VanVleet, Kyrie and Harden, De'Aaron Fox, CJ McCollum, Kristaps Porzingis, Julius Randle, Andrew Wiggins, Jaren Jackson Jr., Anthony Simons. You get the point. Michael Bridges, like Aaron Gordon. There's a shit ton of guys available. That's probably, the list will get smaller as time goes by because I'm sure a lot of those guys will end up re-signing where they're at. Like Aaron Gordon, I don't see him leaving Denver personally, but there's a couple guys on there that won't end up being in that class. But it would make a lot of sense, I think, to give a guy like James Harden 1 year, $40 million, just because we need a guy like that, and then see if we can kick the can down the road. But with that being said, James, do you have anything on the Pistons?
The only thing I wanted to add my 2 cents on is Brad is correct. We do not have a first round pick this year. It went to Minnesota, originally from the Houston trade back in, I believe it was 2020, that was protected for so many years and we never made the playoffs, so we always kept it. Now we finally get rid of it. So obviously it's a bummer not having a first round pick, but I will trade the playoffs for that, no problem. We already have a nice young core. We already have promising young talent with Ron Holland and Asar Thompson. Cade gets better every year, so I don't think that's too big of a hit, but I did just want to confirm on that. And then, as you two said about Barkley and Shaq, I just, as you guys know, and whoever watches the podcast know, I've said 1,000 times, I watch hockey, baseball, and football borderline religiously. I only dabbled in basketball, but even I saw him call it, oh, we're going back to Auburn Hills, and Shaq saying, you know, Chauncey Billups is doing a pretty good job as the coach of the Pistons. So I'm like, come on, guys. Like I've maybe watched legitimately 5 games this year. I'm like, what the hell? Like even I know this, and I don't even watch them. It's their job on a grand stage to know this shit. Like especially like Shaq and Barkley. I can understand a little bit. I'll cut Stephen A. Smith, who I normally rag on. I'll cut him a little bit of slack just because he dabbles in all the other sports. He talks football and everything else. But Shaq and Barkley, they're your basketball guys. That's what you do. That's what you are. Like, come on. So whatever, ridiculous. But yeah, the Pistons look damn good this year. They exceeded, I believe, everyone's expectations. I believe we're playing with house money. I think we do have a chance to beat the Knicks. Will we or won't we? I don't. I don't really care. Like, obviously, I wish we do, but I'm not going to be upset even if we get swept, like you said. I would love to win at least one, and I think we will. But yeah, three of the four teams this year made the playoffs. Tigers are on the pace. I know it's super early in the season to make the playoffs again. I would be beyond shocked if the Lions don't again. So it's overall in the totality of Detroit sports, it's a pretty good time to be in the city right now.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point about, we really don't need a first round pick. I mean, realistically, what would we even use that first round pick for this year? It would be like pick, I don't know, 18. Let's just throw out a number. What are you getting at 18 that's really going to move the needle in the NBA? I mean, unless somebody falls, you get like a Jalen Williams from OKC type situation, which actually, speaking of OKC, I think Giannis will be a Thunder. So we'll see how that happens, but they have by far the most draft capital of any team in the NBA. If they don't trade for Giannis, they'll trade for somebody else. But the other thing with the Charles Barkley Shaq thing is, one thing I found very, very interesting about Shaq is, you guys kind of touched on this already. He was on a podcast talking about how the Pistons are boring to watch. I don't give a shit about the Pistons. What have they done? What blah, 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 blah. And this was about halfway through the season, right? And then about a month later, he comes out and says, the Pistons are great, and I think Chauncey Billups should be coach of the year. Then they're talking about the playoffs are coming back to Auburn Hills, or whatever the fuck Charles Barkley sounds. But it's just like, so like you said it perfectly, James. It's so irritating when it's like these people's jobs, they make millions of dollars. Boys, we do this for free. We don't get paid. And you motherfuckers don't know what you're talking about. Like, what? Wow, like what the fuck is going on, man? I am just baffled. But with that being said, we will move on now to the Lions, which is our, somewhat, the NFL will be our last talking point today. We don't have too much on the Lions since we did go a little bit longer with Red Wings and Pistons, which we should have. It's their season now. The only thing that I really will say is two things. Number one, Taylor Decker, right, has reportedly been working with Giovanni Manu during this offseason, trying to get him ready. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he hasn't done that before. I would assume he hasn't, based on the fact that it was reported. That could mean that the Lions are legitimately looking for Manu to play this year, which would be great for us and would make sense as to why we're not, obviously not tackle, but he'll be a swing guy, probably play that skipper role, and then maybe be a rotational guard, because since we talked about it, I've been hearing a lot more hype about him playing guard. And then the second thing that I want to bring up just real quick is, and Brad kind of mentioned this before, our 2025 schedule. Fuck. It is rough. Like, we thought we had it bad just being in the black and blue division. We got the fucking black and blue schedule, boys. Like, god damn. So this is our home. Obviously the schedule hasn't been put out, but this is our home games. Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota. We knew that already. Dallas, Tampa, Pittsburgh, and then we've got two kind of not easy ones, but we got the Browns and the Giants. Not terrible, right? Our away, though, fuck, okay? Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, we knew that already. Cincinnati, Kansas City, Washington, Philly, LA Rams, Baltimore Ravens. Are you fucking serious right now? We literally play every playoff team, or every team we play on the road is a playoff team other than Cincinnati and Chicago. And we play in Kansas City, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. Like, oh my God, I am not looking forward to this at all. I'm not going to go crazy and say that we're not going to make the playoffs, but damn it, I don't know if we win the division next year. And that's really, really, really tough to say because we've won it 2 years in a row. But last year was hard enough, and the Vikings just got better. And I mean, their schedule is not as hard as ours. So, and the Bears' schedule is a lot easier because they were, for lack of a better term, they were bad last year. So they got a lot better this offseason. So I'm kind of worried about our standings in the division, and I'm wondering maybe that's why Brad Holmes came up with that idea of, oh, let's change the seeding based on division. So maybe he's thinking ahead, like, what if we don't win the division and we're in the Vikings spot from last year? We still want a home game, even if we win 13 games, we should still get a home game. I think he's thinking about it as if the Lions don't win instead of most people thought was, oh, he's trying to help, Minnesota or whatever from the year before. So with that being said, James, I'll pass it to you for anything that you have to add.
Yeah, it is a brutal schedule. I remember when it first came out, which teams were playing. Obviously, the schedule itself is not out. I remember looking at it and seeing the home games and thinking, to be honest, I see a sweep. I don't see any of those teams I'm even worried about or sweating. Obviously, any given Sunday, or I guess nowadays Thursday, Monday, whenever the hell they play now. Uh, I'm not worried about a single one of those home games. Like Pittsburgh's a decent team, but I'm not afraid of Pittsburgh. Road games, once again, I would not use the word afraid, but my God, the fucking gauntlet that is going on through there. As you mentioned, obviously they're division opponents. We've mentioned on several podcasts how improved the Bears and the Vikings became. I'm not worried about Green Bay, to be honest with you, so I don't really care there. But I can see us splitting the series with Chicago and Minnesota. Washington beat us. I know we had a shit ton of injuries, and I no reason to go through the whole list again, but they beat us last year in the playoffs. They got significantly better in free agency, getting Laramie Tunsil, getting Debo Samuel. Like that's no easy opponent. I have Washington in my top five NFC teams. Philly, obviously defending champions. Cincinnati, they missed the playoffs last year. However, I think matchup wise, they might be potentially the hardest team on our schedule. We will be in Cincinnati. We have to get pressure on. Uh, I don't know why I almost just said golf because I'm thinking Lions. Joe Burrow. But we have a very young secondary. I know we've got DJ Reed from the Jets, but I mean, with Terry Arnold and Rakestraw and like even the younger safeties with Branch, like since he just paid their receivers 70 million a year to stay there with Higgins and Chase, it will not be an easy matchup for our young secondary. Not saying we can't do it, but it won't be easy. And then, as you said, Baltimore, they're always good every year. Kansas City, they're always good. Although golf is 3-0 against them. So at least there's that. And then the Rams, of course. I think this is the third year in a row we play the Rams. Another Stafford versus golf game. But yeah, between our division opponents getting better and us facing this gauntlet, I don't know if we're gonna win the division, as Jay said. I do think we'll make the playoffs. I think three NFC North teams will make the playoffs. I see us, Chicago, and Minnesota all making the playoffs this year. Seeding, obviously TBD, but that's where I'm sitting now. Obviously, pending on the draft, trade ups, trades downs, all this other stuff, it can always move. But in terms of where I'm at right now, that's how I see it going so far. So I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, and that's a good point. With that being said, Brad, I'll just pass it right on over to you.
Yeah. Well, first thing to keep in mind is the Lions went undefeated on the road, so they're not afraid to gas the plane up, go in and kick some ass, gas the plane, go home. All right. I'm not big on doing the win-loss thing on the schedule because I come from the thought of it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Okay. For instance, couple of years ago, they go into KC, they win, right? But when they play them, KC has football. You can't be distracted. KC had the ring ceremony, everything. Chris Jones was out, so they got him at the right time, right? Okay. So it's all going to depend. Hey, depends on injuries, of course, okay? That's why it's frustrating. The Lions had all the stars aligned. All the stars aligned to go to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It was a goddamn lock, man. I mean, I think the percentages were there at 72% until the second half. And then we all know what happened. No need to, drudge that back up. And then last year you have what happened. Okay? They had it. They had the injuries. So it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And if we want to do the schedule thing, which is fine, um, I I I don't know why everybody. I mean, are they going to be better? Yes, they're going to be better, but they didn't have a tremendous finish to the season. All right, so respectfully, I don't want to hear about this. Oh, they're just like the fucking Lions from 3 years. Bullshit. They're not. Chicago is not that. Okay, Chicago was pure ass last year. All right, they were. Are they going to win some more games? Yes, they are. You don't know if Ben Johnson's a good coach. Just don't crown this guy like he's goddamn fucking Don Coryell from the 70s with Air Coryell. You don't know if he's a head coach. You don't know if he's good. He's a good coordinator. All right. I mean, you ever see Any Given Sunday, guys? You ever see that movie? Like Cool J said, fuck you, Crozier. You're a goddamn offensive coordinator. Okay? Being an offense coordinator is a lot different to being a head coach. All right, you probably got some, I mean, you see it every day. Jason, of course, it's on the high school level, no disrespect, but it's true. You got to command a locker room. You have to be consistent in what you do. You have to keep your stars happy. All that shit. I mean, look what happened with Patricia. Third weekend, he's telling Darius Slay to, stop swinging from these guys' nuts. You're telling the captain that inside the locker room. You just completely lost the locker room. So I'm done crowning the fucking Bears. All right. I don't want to fucking hear it. Show me. Show me. I don't want to hear how fucking much improved they are. I want to see it. Because until you pad up and get on that field, you still fucking suck. You're the Bears. All right. Anyways, I digress. Green Bay's probably going to take a step down. I think Jordan Love is somewhere in between the year he had 2 years ago and last year. I don't think he's all that. I don't think he's great. Minnesota, you got a rookie quarterback. Again, who knows? Who knows? He could maybe be your Jaden Daniels. He maybe be, he might be your goddamn Ryan Leaf. Who knows? It's an unknown. We're sitting there talking unknowns. Why are we crowning these fuckers, man? Stop it. Stop gassing them up. We're the Lions. We went 15-2. Okay, granted, we took a shit in the playoffs. All right, but we went 15-2 with half the goddamn team on IL. Not an exaggeration. Okay, and they went undefeated on the fucking road. Okay, all their losses were at home. That's an anomaly. All right, so I'm not going to play the schedule. I'm going to say this with Cincinnati. Who's going to block? Who's going to block for Cincinnati? Please tell me, because they don't have anybody. All right, Burrow's going to get knocked on his ass more than a fucking drunk ass fucking sorority chick at her first fucking party, at her own first party at Phi Delta Jack Alpha or whatever. Okay, he's going to be on his ass more than a goddamn fucking porn star. Okay. You can't get the ball to your $70 million wide receivers if you can't fucking get it to them. All right? You can't throw it from your ass because you had the ball in your on your ass. Technically, you're down. So fuck Cincinnati, man. Whatever, man. Trey Hendrickson. Who's going to play defense for him? All right? Is fucking Jamar Chase going to be the next Travis Hunter? Is he going to go both ways? Okay? And is T. Higgins going to go both ways? Their defense fucking sucked. I don't want to go upset. They're horrible. All right? I'm not worried about it. Unless we go in there when we play them and we're all fucking banged up. Okay? We're better. We're a better football team in Cincinnati. The other ones, guys, when do we get them? Because if everybody's healthy, everything goes right on paper, Philly would win. Okay? Baltimore would win. Kansas City would win. Based on the road. Now, if it's at home, it's a whole different ballgame. Or is it because their only 3 losses were at home this year? This is a road-tested team. All right, these guys have seen everything now. They've lost NFC Championship game by shit in the bed. Been there, they know now. Okay, they lost the first round of the playoffs. They know how to play with injuries. They know how to win on the road. Okay, so I don't think unless catastrophe happens, are they ever going to be more than a 5-point, maybe a 6-point underdog in any game they go into next year? They're not. In fact, it could be a 4-point. All right, 7 points is ridiculous. That's almost like, hey, I don't see him being more than a 5-point underdog against anybody. All things being said. So, Manu, remember how damn good of a basketball player that guy was? He's got the footwork. With Decker, I saw the video. They're just lifting, but he's stronger than an ox. Also, I saw him at LaCharles Bentley's. I think we talked about it way long ago. LaCharles Bentley was just a stud center for so many years. Played at Ohio State. And he's worked there with him too. Okay. And they showed video of that. Jace, I think I might have sent it on Michigan Sport. It was from Pride of Detroit who had the video. Reisman did. And I think I sent it to you. Guys, it's night and day. I'm not sure I don't think he's ready for prime time, but I think he's ready to play, if you know what I mean. I don't think he's going to be one of those inactives every game this year. I think he's going to be ready to play. So he's a 4th-round pick. I still raise my eyebrows about it, but in Brad I trust. And Brad, if Brad Holmes told me to, well, I don't want to go there. That's too violent. But Brad Holmes told me to do anything, I'd probably do it. Okay? If Brad Holmes told me to pack my ass full of firecrackers and squat over a flaming hibachi, I would do it. I would do it. All right? I'll do anything Brad says, up to a certain extent. Okay? But, guys, let's not play. I mean, if you want to, everybody does, so be it. But I'm not a big fan of the schedule game. Play who you got when you got them. And last time I checked, we're Kings of the North. So knock us off. You knock us off, you'll get my respect. You don't, you still suck. So back to you guys.
Yeah, and those are good points, Brad. Especially with the when you play them, because that will definitely make a big difference, especially with those great teams. Because I mean, it depends. Are we playing Baltimore week 3, or are we playing them week 13? That'll make a huge difference for everybody involved. So, with that being said, we will move on to the NFL, and with the draft only, guys, we're 2 weeks away. We are less than 2 weeks away, actually. 2 weeks from yesterday. I can't imagine it. I feel like when I looked at the fucking calendar, I was like, wait, it's April? We're already in draft month? What the fuck is going on, man? I must be getting old, because it seemed like I don't even remember what day it is half the time, let alone what month. But with that being said, there's a lot of rumors going around right now. And I know we kind of talked about how the top 3 could probably play out. But now we're seeing some rumors of some guys sliding, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, talking to the listeners here, but about 20 minutes ago, I made a weird face while someone was talking. And it wasn't because of something they said. It was because of something I saw. Derek Carr is probably out for the season. Shador Sanders is going to slide. I think you know where I'm going with this one. I just did a mock draft this morning where I picked Shador at 9. Guess what? Deion Sanders just tweeted. Okay? Eye emojis, right? After a tweet from Louis Riddick that said that 9th pick gonna be, what does it say? All kinds of interesting. Deion Sanders quote tweeted it with the eye emoji. I feel like it's a done deal, guys. I feel like Shador told 1 through 8, don't take me. Don't draft me. I don't want to go there. I'm not playing for you.
Yep.
And the Saints just got a new head coach who is an offensive mastermind, which is yet to be seen. He did well with the Eagles last year, but his Cowboys days were a little odd. Kellen Moore, I don't know. I mean, it would make a lot of sense, I think, for him to go to New Orleans, even before the Derek Carr injury stuff, because I figured, regardless, you guys need a quarterback. But with that being said, there's another player who is likely to slide that is probably a top 5 player in this draft. And he's a Michigan man. Will Johnson. Sounds like Will Johnson could go as late as the 20s. I think that's fucking crazy, okay? Like, Will Johnson was a top 5 lock for 2 years, I would say. Everybody knew once he comes out in the draft, he's top 5. Now I'm seeing him go in mocks as late as 28. Or I'm not 28, 26. Because we wouldn't draft him. But, I mean, we would if he was there. Fuck. But, no, he didn't make it that far. But Mason Graham is also another guy that I've been seeing a lot of negatives on recently, where everybody thought he's a top 3 lock. I still think he's going top 5 for sure. However, I wouldn't be that surprised if he falls to like 7 or 8. I think that's about his floor. But the things I've seen are, relatively decent reasons to be worried about him. He's got short arms. He's not the most athletic guy in terms of certain measurables and things. So it would make sense. And he's an interior D lineman. So we'll see where he gets drafted. But I just feel Mason Graham and Will Johnson will probably be underdrafted, both of them, if they both go out of the top 5. And then, obviously, like I said, Derek Carr is most likely going to get season-ending surgery. Nothing is definitive yet. But with that being said, I wanted to ask you guys, and I don't want to make this a super long conversation since we're already pretty late as is. Who's your number 1 player in the draft? Just number 1. Because I think that is hard. That's probably the hardest thing in this draft right now. I personally, obviously it's between 2 guys. Okay, it's Abdul Carter or fucking Travis Hunter. There's really nobody else. Ashton Jeanty. I think he's got a case. However, he's not going number 1, obviously, but at the position, he might be better than, let's say, a Travis Hunter is at his position or a Carter is at his position. However, I think I would go the Abdul Carter route simply because Travis Hunter, you don't know what he's going to play next in the next level. I personally don't love the idea that he's a jack of all trades, master of none, because in the NFL you got to master something. And I personally would use him as a wide receiver for the most part. Okay, call me crazy. I'm using Travis Hunter in the slot on both sides of the ball. He's going to be my slot receiver, my gadget guy. He'll probably get 6 to 8 targets a game. He'll play 70% of offensive snaps, and then he'll be our nickel slot guy on defense, and he'll play 40 to 50% of snaps. I think that's the best way to do it, but that's why I don't see him as my number 1 player, simply because I don't know that he will be elite on either side of the ball. I don't. He's a great player on both sides, though, so I feel like you have to use him on both, but taking a player like that, number 1, is very tough. But with that being said, Brad, I will pass it over to you. Who do you think is your number 1 prospect this year?
I do think that Travis Hunter is. I am so in lockstep with you too about. I'm not just going to plug him all the time in the slot on the offensive side of the ball. I think he can play X, Y, and Z. So there's something there. I mean, I think he's a special wide receiver. And I also think he's a special. It's tough to tell because the teams he played, the conference he was in. I could be wrong. I'm trying to think. I don't really think he saw any kind of elite quarterback. He did see some good wide receivers from Iowa State. He saw some good ones. He saw that 6'5" guy from Kansas, who I'd love the Lions take, but I digress. So he saw some decent receivers. I don't think he saw a good quarterback though. So I think he is, because I think you're getting 2 for 1, or at least you're getting a 1.5 player. I do value Louis Riddick's opinion a lot ever since, and I got to give him his credit, man. He said Patrick Mahomes is going to be, is going to win multiple Super Bowls. Is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Call him the Ferrari, and he's dead on. He says Travis Hunter is going to be a generational player. Who might argue with him? I do. If I was going top 5, I would definitely go obviously Hunter, Carter. I'd probably this might turn some heads. I'd probably go Will Johnson, the tackle from LSU. I'd probably go with him at 3. I'm gonna go. This is not a great draft. It's a deep draft. It's not a great draft. Definitely gonna go Jonte At 4. Actually, I take that back. I'm gonna go Gente at 3, Johnson at 4, and I'm gonna go Cam Ward at 5. 5 could be debatable. Mason Graham, I don't see him slipping past the Jaguars. In fact, everything I've seen is he's been dialed in with the Jags. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go there. Will Johnson, uh, 2 years ago, yeah, he comes out, he's top 5. I just think he did a Nabuka from a couple years ago from Ohio State. I mean, he played. I think he saw where Michigan's season's going, and I think he basically tapped out. I think he said, "You know what? I'm good. I'm good. I'm not sure. I mean, a hamstring injury. By the way, same thing Abuka had. I don't think that holds you out for the majority of the season, a good majority of the season. Almost 3/4 of it. So, not a big fan of that. It's just something about him where he had the pick. I think maybe it's the pick sixes. He had a lot of them. I'm not saying he's a bad player. If he's there for the Lions, fuck yeah, run on the podium. But he's not top 10. I just don't think he's top 10. And this isn't. I like Michigan. Obviously, I like them. I don't. I mean, I'm Indiana, whatever. But also to finish up, you're dead fucking on. I mean, I was hoping actually I was gonna when we have our mock, I was gonna get the Saints because, unless you guys, I mean, dude, wrap it. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. I don't think Shakur Sanders is good. Is good enough to fucking tell these teams don't draft me. I think he's a cocky little shit. To be honest with you, I don't. He's not even close to being his dad. Let's fucking face it. He'll never be his father. Okay, so dude, stop with your bullshit. Again, get the fucking pads on. Get on the field. Then you can talk your shit because you didn't play in a very good conference. You're not fucking, you're not mobile. All right. You're accurate. Okay. You're a good quarterback, but you are not good enough to tell people you are not John Elway. Hell, you're not even Eli fucking Manning. Okay. You're not going to tell people where you're going to go on the draft. So tell them because they'll be like, hey, thank you. Hey, we got a built-in reason why hey, you know what? Why did you take, well, because he fucking said that. All right. He's not a franchise quarterback, but he's guaranteed to go to Saints. Guaranteed. So back to you guys.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I personally believe that Travis Hunter, right? He is his corner tape is very good, right? But like you said, he hasn't played a great quarterback. He hasn't played against the elite of the elite wide receivers. He's done it a handful of times, but what I see in Travis is what I see from him as a wide receiver, like you mentioned, is someone that could be elite, like with his change of direction, his ball skills, his route running, things like that. If he goes to be a wide receiver, I think he could be one of the best ones, right? However, at corner, I also feel he gets a little bit of incorrect love, right? I think people love him at corner for the same reasons that he's good at wide receiver, but he's so good at corner because he's smart, in my opinion, right? If you look at what the Buffaloes did this past year, from when I watched his film, it seemed to me they played a lot of match coverage, a lot of match zone coverage. They don't play a shit ton of man. They're not just manning Travis Hunter up on the outside. So what that allows him to do is kind of be a roamer. And that's why you see him make so many plays, because he's smart. He understands if this wide receiver does this, he's probably running this route, that kind of situation. And he does a great job at breaking on the ball, getting tackles. He's decently physical in the run game. But, to your point, he could be the best prospect in this draft by far if he decides to say, I'm a wide receiver. And that's my opinion. But with that being said, that's all for this show. As we said before, the draft is coming up. So sometime soon, we will be having our mock draft episode. Most likely the week of the draft. That's how I would like to do it. Maybe we could do one next week and one the week of, whatever you guys want to do. We will figure that out, though, as the time comes. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching. You know what to do. Follow us on Twitter, James at @Gullet_James, Brad at BT8Ball, and myself at JSoSweet. And you can find all of us at MI Sports Media and at misportsmedia.com. don't forget, hit the donate button, hit the subscribe button. We're giving away Tigers tickets. So all you have to do, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube, donate either $1 or subscribe for at least $1, and those tickets could be yours. We will we will make our selection on Monday, April 21st. So keep your eye out for that. We will be picking the winners shortly. And with that being said, we appreciate you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next one.